Hello, Video Game Hunter here, and welcome to another video of Hunting Finds at this year's Fandomfest 2016. So, I got quite a few stuff I picked up at the convention, a lot of expensive stuff. I actually spent way more than I thought I was going to, but that's what happens when you see some games that you really want and some games you've been looking for quite a while. So that said, not all this stuff is game related. I actually got some comics and some good artwork that some people did. Alright, so that said, let's start things off with some two, I guess, figurines I found. The Final Fantasy VIII characters. We got, I can never figure out how to say your name, Squall, Squall, Squeal. I can never figure out how to pronounce his name right, but here he is. And we got his rival, who I completely forgot what his name is, but he was also a gunblade user, just like the other character I just showed you. I'm so glad I found these two together. It wouldn't be anything fun to show to anyone if I didn't have those two. So I'm glad I have them too. I actually got that from a toy vendor. Weird, that was like the only video game thing he had there. The rest of it was like Power Rangers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and lots of other stuff, but really that's like the only two figurines that was video game related. Alright, so other things I found, our buddies over at Pixel Brian, I stopped by the little table and they were telling me they're trying to raise money to have the show Bagged and Board to be on Blu-ray and DVD, which is a good show that's being filmed here around Louisville. But the main place they're shooting this episode or show at is at a comic book shop close by. I believe it's Destination Nation. No, the Destination. That's what it's called. The comic book shop is Destination. And last year we actually interviewed the director, Matt. Don't recall his last name, but we interviewed him, and I think it was an alright interview. I'll put a link down below or a adaptation where you can see the interview right at the Console Explosions YouTube channel. Well, anyway, so they were selling some things to raise money for the Blu-ray and DVD set, which I would love to have once they get enough money and able to afford the production costs. But I decided to buy the little poster of Zoe, the character from their little internet show. Zoe looks kind of like a what do you call it? What's that movie slash manga? I actually have it now. Remember, Scott Pilgrim. Nice little art of Zoe in the style of Scott Pilgrim. Oh, that'll be hanging up in my wall at some point. Guys, I can't believe I totally forgot the name of that movie. And I think the next thing we found was a very rare Atari game. Now, the downside is this was a complete risk that I took because there's a US version and there's a PAL version. The PAL version is actually a lot easier to find than the US version, but the PAL version is still an expensive game. And it's called Mangia. Sadly, this is the PAL version, but it cost me around up to $300, which sucks. But at least now I can say I own Mangia on the Atari 2600. And I don't know that's how you pronounce it, but the downside is the PAL cards will be in black and white on American television sets, so for what I understand. Which sucks, but at least I have one of the rare games on Atari 2600. But I just don't know how rare compared to the American version, but I just know it's not as rare. But basically, for what I understand, this game is about try not to eat too much food what your mom gives you. And that's all I know. basically if you eat too much, you basically explode. I'll show you some gameplay footage, but it's most likely will be in black and white. Unless I can figure out how to record it in color. And here's something I did not expecting to find. I was at a anime booth. They had everything anime related, like hentai, DVDs, Blu-rays, some manga, some figurines. I was not expecting to find this game because I've never seen this game back in FYE when they used to sell hentai PC games there. Bible Black. Now this is extremely not for children, but I've been looking for this game for quite a while. I might have to blur some image here, but basically Bible Black was a hentai anime that came out where some ladies found this book in a they found this book at an antique shop, and they decided to try some black magic, and let's just say it gets very sexual. So that's it. I'm somewhat pleased I found the PC copy of the game. Alright, so that said, I also found a rare Sega Saturn game. Now, I don't know much about this game, but they actually had 2 copies of this game. One was not complete and one was complete. And obviously I got this game completed. And it's called Magic Knight Ray Earth. Now, like I said, I don't know much about this game, but it's a role-playing game. Now, I even looked at some, those really old reviews that when the game came out, and one person said, it's a good game, but he gave it a lower score because they were using outdated graphics. I mean, come on. So just because the game is in 2D like Super Nintendo, I wouldn't call that outdated. I mean, come on. A lot of games are being made in 2D still. Like, I don't know, Undertal comes to mind. Freedom Planet, Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight is being really successful. So, whoever said outdated graphics, hey, they're still hip today and it's selling pretty well. Alright, so what else I got? Oh, and the same vendor who sold me that rare Saturn, I actually picked this game from him the next day. I mean, I found it, but I forgot to put it in my pile. And that was a game that I've been looking for the longest time. I wanted to get it on the PS2 because I thought that was an exclusive game to the PS2, but apparently this game came out on the Xbox, and since now I have a working Xbox I can play my Xbox games on now, I decided to go ahead and pick it up because I always wanted to play this game. And this game is actually based on an 80s movie, and when this game came out, it surprisingly got great reviews. And let me just tell you what that game is. The Warriors. Do I have that upside down? No, I don't. But I just been looking for this game forever, and ever since I started collecting, I never really found a copy until now. I mean, sure, I could have ordered this game online, but I try not to do that as much anymore because it ruins the fun of game hunting. So I can't wait to play this. I've seen the movie. The movie is actually pretty good. But now, I need to play this game as soon as possible. One of the most legend comic book writers ever showed up this year at Fandomfest, and that was Stan Lee. Now, here's the thing. I did get his autograph, which you will see right here. He signed my Maximum Carnage on the Sega Genesis. I have to show you real up close. You may or may not see it because they wrote it in black. Gosh, I can't even see it through this camera. Yep, you see it now. Yep, I had Stan Lee sign it. But here's what's kind of disappointing. Unlike last year where I got Jason Mewes from from the movie Clerks, you know, he plays a drug dealer, Jay. When I got his autograph, he chatted with me a little bit. I mean, nothing too important. Like, he saw my hat and he said, "Ooh, awesome hat," and he said some... I don't remember what else he said, but he also apologized for not signing my DVD copy right away because he was looking for his wife. But he stood by, and once his wife showed up, he did what he needed to do. He signed it. His little autograph thing was more memorable. Unlike Stan Lee, it's like, okay, here's $100, and yes, his signature was $100, and basically you just run through the line. He's just signing it. No eye contact. No, hello, how you doing? Blah blah blah. The guy who's making sure the line is going smoothly is telling everyone, hey, where do you want Stanley to sign? Make sure you point at the direction of the item you want him to sign, and he signs and you go. Not really all that memorable. And I caught a quick glimpse of his Q&A panel, but since that long line I waited in, it's not as exciting as Jason Mewes was, so it was kind of a downer a little bit. And I feel I kind of sound mean, but it kind of was. But I somewhat understand too, because you have a huge line and everyone just wants his signature. Oh well. Oh, and I picked up a anime magazine at an anime stand. And this is free because he said it was last month's issues and he's trying to get rid of them as soon as possible. But when I do get a chance, I'm gonna go and check out Otaku USA. I used to buy their magazines whenever I can when I go to Kroger. Man, I should really subscribe to this magazine because I love the articles and I love reading up what's the next hip movie that's coming out to the US. So one of the people I interviewed at Fandomfest, and I believe her name is Kira. I'm not 100% sure I'm saying her name right. She's a artist that I interviewed at Fandomfest, and she has some really nice anime artwork. And she had a sister with her who draws realism. Now they were pretty impressive realism art, but I'm more about anime. But I interviewed her about her art and why she chose to draw anime instead of, you know, realism art. But it was a pretty interesting interview. I will be putting that interview up on the Console Explorers YouTube channel. I think the reason I wanted to interview her because she printed out a comic. Now, unlike other comics you might see at let's just say comic book shop, they're usually printed by a publisher. But she had to print this comic herself. Whatever she had at home, she used. She had a printer and ribbons. She printed out her comic through her printer and she tied it together with ribbons, and I thought that was really interesting. She told me the reason she did this because she tried to go through a publisher to get it published, but things weren't working out, and they couldn't get it published by Fandomfest, so she decided to make her comics homemade. And I'll show you a quick look what it looks like. Ta-da! It can't be him. I read a little bit about the comic, and for what I understand, it says some, I guess, females are being kidnapped at night when they're all alone outside. So, yeah, it sounds like a basic story. But what's neat about this comic is that every time she does a comic and finishes the story, she uploads it online and she wants to hear from her fans. And her fans will comment saying this is what they want to happen in the comic. And she'll take some of the ideas that her fans have mentioned or what they want, and she will be like, okay, I can live with that, and that will be her next chapter, using ideas that her fans gave her. I don't know, I find that pretty interesting. There's actually someone I follow on DeviantArt where each time she does a comic, she wants you to vote what you want to happen next, and the most votes, that's what will happen. So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. And God, I hope I explained this right. And again, here's a comic, and here's all the neat, all the neat little pages and pages. Can't wait to see. I'm probably looking at pages I haven't seen yet. I read a bit of the comic. I'm going to finish it tonight, though. Some more art I bought from her, which she was selling her art pretty cheap and all colored in and everything. I don't know what this character is from, but I really liked the design, so I decided to buy it up. And it's only cost me $5, and it's already framed. That's really, really cheap than what I'm used to buying from artists. But whatever you buy from her, she'll give you a bag that has more artwork on there. Really, really interesting. And you can find her on karascomic.com. And I believe she also has a Tumblr, so I'll leave the link, a link down below where you can find more of her stuff. Alright, so that said, I actually did buy more comics besides that one. And don't worry, these are regular comics. However, usually people buy superhero comics or whatnot, but me, they have to be either My Little Pony comics or video game comics. And boy, did I find some video game comics. I found Mortal Kombat comics. Yeah, I bought this dude's every issue of Mortal Kombat that he had at his stand. We got Mortal Kombat Kung Lao. We got Mortal Kombat Blood and Thunder. Ooh. And we got Goa, Prince of Pain. And Goa, Prince of Pain, I think Volume 2. Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition 2. And last but not least, but Mortal Kombat Blood and Thunder. I don't know if there's another issue called Blood and Thunder. Yes, there is. That one's issue 4, and this one is issue 1. I mean, I've been looking for these Mortal Kombat comics forever, and the fact that this seller had some, and he was selling them pretty cheap, like $3 or $4 each. I don't know. To me, that's worth it. And they're the originals. Oh, I'm so glad I have them now. Another video game comics crossing off my list. Alright, so about to get to the last couple items. Now, and since I was at a, this is mostly a comic convention or nerdy convention, I wanted to buy a figurine, and I don't care what it was. But all the nice ones, I don't really know who they were, and I don't want to buy something I don't know, which is kind of hypocritical since I just said I don't care what it is. So the figurine that I bought was a character from Sword Art Online, Asuna. Now what's great about this figurine that it looks pretty cool, but I was assuming this would be costing me a lot because they had figurines that it was going for like $60 to $200. I actually saw a high profit Yumi figurines, but that was in box, but the guy wanted $200 and that was way too much. But this guy only wanted $25 of this one. I don't know if they're going for $25, but to me this looks pretty awesome. Now I just need to find what's your name? I said your name a couple times today. Kimito. Now I need to find Kimito. And once I do, I believe the set will be complete. I gotta have the girlfriend and the boyfriend together from the show. Or does it feel right having them at all? Alright. 2 more items I'd like to show you is that I bought a new wallet. Sailor Moon wallet. And believe me, I need a new one. My Sonic the Hedgehog one was falling apart and it's time to replace it. So now my newest wallet is Sailor Moon. Nice. And last but not least, I'd like to show you guys that I did interview another person. I only had 2 interviews this year, which kind of sucks due to cameraman complications, but that's okay. I actually interviewed a guy that uses balloons to make art. Now, he doesn't just like blow balloon animals and make whatever. He literally takes like broken pieces of balloons and makes art out of it. And he even told me to touch some of his art. That's all pieces of balloons, and that was actually pretty interesting. And so we interviewed him, and we even got live footage of him making a balloon animal that I told him to make. And he said he will make anything you want him to make. Boba Fett, he will do Boba Fett. You want him to make, I guess, Rooney Kenshin from... Oh, I shouldn't say Rooney Kenshin. That's the name of the show. If you want him to draw Kenshin from Rooney Kenshin, he would do that. But I told him I want you to draw Hops from Zootopia. And one of the balloons apparently popped at some point, and which is weird, I didn't hear it. But here's one of the balloon animals he made. It's Hops from Zootopia. Hi, Fox! Hello, everybody! It looks pretty neat, but it looks like the air's already coming out. I think he did a pretty cool job. And check out the video of him making this. It will be on the Console Explosions YouTube channel, coming soon. Well, that's it for today. I'm gonna watch some more BoJack the Horseman. I can't wait to watch season 3. So. Well, that's practically that's it. So, until next time, this is the Video Game Hunter, and I screwed this up. Goodbye.